Hey friends, Scott Smith with the Smith team at Keller Williams. Wanted to share with you some March madness as it relates to real estate in our crazy real estate market in the Twin Cities. We have seen a lot of first-time buyers coming back into the fold, and with that, there's increased demand, and the result of that is multiple offers. So I've got some different strategies from a buyer's perspective on how you can structure an offer to help you increase the odds that you're going to get your offer accepted and stand out from your competition. Quick story, I was just with some buyers last weekend, and we had a great new listing that we took a look at, and there was a lot of activity there. The property was listed for $450,000. Hit the market on Friday and Sunday evening. They reviewed 13 offers. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, but that gives you a little bit of flavor for how many buyers are out there trying to get some good deals on property. So I've got 4 different things for you to share with, and I'll probably break this video into 2 parts. Share with you this week the first 2, and then next week the last 2 parts of it. So all 4 are very important when it comes to structuring your offer and making sure that you stand out. The first thing obviously is price. That's the top of the list when it comes to a seller. They're looking at the price when it comes to what their bottom line is going to be and how that everything plays out with that. And from a buyer's perspective, the question is, how much more do we offer? When we find that beautiful home and there are multiple offers, what are we going to do? How can we make our price stand out? We ask our buyers to how much do you want to take a swing at this property? Is it something that if someone else gets it for a certain price, are you willing to walk away and feel good about that? So that's a good gut check question. When we're structuring the offer, I like to use odd numbers. So I'll use that example for the property that was listed for $450,000. That one, we included a couple different clauses to make our offer stand out. But our top end number, we actually had it end in 7500. So we wanted to make sure that that was going to stand out from any other offers, instead of just kind of maybe doing a $10,000 or $15,000 above the asking price. So that made a difference. Hopefully got ours towards the top of the list, but unfortunately didn't make it to the very top of the list. The next thing that we can do is what's called an escalation clause. Some agents and homeowners are open to this and some are not. So we always check before we submit that. So we structure our offer strong with a strong base price, and then we'll actually add a separate clause in there called an escalation clause, where we will meet or exceed the next highest offer by a certain amount. I like to add another $5,000 on top of that, because there could be some other terms that might sway them one way or another. So that $5,000 above the next highest offer with documentation showing the proof that the other offer was there. That's been very effective for us. The tricky thing is if, like in that example, if there are a dozen other offers that we're competing against and maybe a couple more have those escalations, how do we stand up to that? So there are some great strategies when it comes to price that we've used to help our offers stand out. The next thing I want to share with you is timing, and timing is a big thing for many sellers. If you see a property that's vacant, typically that seller will be looking for a quick closing and a nice clean transaction. If it's something where you can kind of see some clues, maybe it's a family that is looking for a home of their choice, you can be flexible with that as well. So closing time frame, if you are a first-time buyer, you've got that flexibility that certainly makes you stand out. And then also when the closing time frame is, we also want to have a flexible possession. So again, if it's a vacant property, it doesn't matter too much, but if it's something where if someone is moving out of the home, giving them an extra 24, 48 hours for possession, or sometimes we'll even include what's called a rent back clause. That rent back clause allows them to close on the property so that you own it, and then we might extend that rent. They might rent it back from you for a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, or even more. It gives them that flexibility, and it helps offset your monthly payment that's going to be coming up shortly. So those are a couple great ways that we can help structure, make your offer stand out above the rest. So the first 2 I want to share with you are price and then timing. And there's also some nuances that go along with that. So depending on the buyer situation and the seller situation, we can tailor those to make those offers stand out. So that's what I've got for you for part 1. Stay tuned next week for part 2 of how do you make your offer stand out when it comes to multiple offers. Thanks. Have a great day.